Hello Cancer, this is Ashley. We're going to be doing your reading today for the 11/11 portal. Now this reading will be good for the week of November 8th. But I wanted to focus in on the portal itself. Now if you don't know anything about the 11/11 portal, you can certainly look it up. But it's really about accelerated manifestation and ascension. And so we're going to do a little bit of a different reading today to kind of help guide you when it comes to what it is you're manifesting right now, whether you're aware of it or not. And then we're going to look at what it is that you do need to know and be aware of. And then we're going to get some guidance from your guides, any messages that they want you to have at this time. Let me make sure I'm on camera. Okay. So, you can definitely check out your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. But one thing I'll say is that I'm certain there's plenty of people out there, especially in the community of folks that would watch tarot, that do conscious manifestation. Like they purposely, attempt to manifest things into their life. But part of why I wanted to do this was because there's a lot of times we're manifesting things subconsciously. We don't realize that we're doing it. And so it may or may not apply to you, depending on what comes through, as well as, if you're aware of it. So I certainly recommend that you kind of give it a listen and see if there's anything that comes through that might... that you might actually catch yourself having been doing something subconsciously. So hopefully that makes sense. And just as far as the eclipse bonuses, those are coming out. They're starting to trickle out this week. So keep your eye out for those. So let's look at what's going on for Cancer the week of November 8th. We have the Seven of Swords, the Six of Swords, and the Page of Swords, the Ten of Cups, the Emperor, and Justice, the Ace of Swords, the Moon, and the Page of Wands. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Cups. So you may certainly be trying to manifest a new beginning in love here. We'll see how that comes into play in the reading overall as we get into it here. So I kind of zoomed in the camera, so hopefully you can see the cards a little bit better. But I'm having to check where I'm at so that I don't put cards off of camera here. Alright, so in this row, we're looking at what you're manifesting right now that you may not be aware of. And we have Unfinished Symphony. And so you may feel like there's something that's not quite complete. I do get the feeling that this is going to be love related here. What we'll certainly see, we can certainly kind of look at it from an emotional fulfillment standpoint. So that could be something outside of a relationship, right? It could be, just a creative project or a work situation that you are involved in here. So definitely take it as it resonates. But I do feel like I'm actually going to pull some messages from that card there. Because I don't want to forget to tell you something. It says unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, and lack of closure, the need to make amends. So it could feel, or you could be in a situation where you're either consciously or unconsciously attempting to manifest, I almost want to say some truth here with the Ace of Swords coming in. It does feel like you've perhaps had a situation that may have ended here with the Ten of Cups. Something that you felt was, you know, your dream come true. But there was some sneakiness around this. We have the Seven of Swords here. And you can see this fox is kind of, his shadow is not very pleasant there. So some sort of trickery may have been going on here. And I'm going to get some more cards to clarify. But I almost feel like you're kind of waiting for some truth to come through. As if you need this breakthrough to kind of sever the ties with whatever this situation is. So let's look at this and we'll kind of analyze it a little bit more. See what might be going on here. But I mean, there is the potential here, just with that unfinished symphony, that if you're continuing to wait for this truth to come through, or this clarity to really finally get to you in order to have closure, you might be in this kind of perpetual cycle of waiting here. So let's see what we get. With the Seven of Swords, we have the Four of Cups. There's definitely something here that was unsatisfying for sure. And the Ten of Swords. Like, I don't think that whatever this situation is for you, I don't think you wanted it to end. I think you just wanted to understand what was going on here. And it does feel like there was something kind of happening behind, I want to say happening behind closed doors, being kind of kept out of your awareness here. The Ten of Cups. We have the Knight of Wands. So definitely some player energy showing up there. I wouldn't normally just say that with the Knight of Wands, just because. I mean, that can be a passionate, Hierophant. So this could have been a marriage, a deep commitment here, if anything. But I do feel like somebody in this dynamic was flighty. Especially with that Seven of Swords there. I do feel like this person that you were dealing with here was a bit of a player. Could have been any number of things. It could have been saying things behind your back. It could have been doing things behind your back. They could have been actually playing the field. Because ultimately, when this ended, you know, the Ten of Swords is a brutal ending. This is like backstabbing. I mean, he's face planted into the ground and the swords are all through his back. This is a lot of stress, a lot of betrayal kind of energy here. But I do feel like at one point this was your family, you may have kids with this person, and you may have been married, if not in a long-term, or wanting a long-term commitment here. If you hadn't had that with this person, I think that was your desire. But ultimately, I do feel like this has ended. We have the 10s here. And I think that you're just trying to gain some clarity on what in the hell went down here. You can see that on this depiction of the Ace of Swords, there's all these ropes tied in knots here behind the sword. And it's almost like if you had the sword, you could cut through these ropes and get free here. It's almost kind of like a spider's web here with those ropes. So let's see, why do we have the Ace of Swords? We have the 8 of Swords. And the 7 of Wands. So I do feel like it's kind of interesting because I feel like on some level you want the truth because you feel like it'll help you get unstuck. But I also at the same time feel like for some of you, you've been fighting for what that truth is for some time. And then still others, it's like you want the truth but you don't want it, you know? Because I feel like in this situation, the truth is not going to be pleasant, especially with this person's behavior showing up here as the Knight of Wands and the 7 of Swords. And so it feels like at this point you're attempting to manifest closure. You just want to know what happened, why it happened, you know, that kind of thing. So if I feel like if that is what you're attempting to manifest, the truth is going to come out. But I am also getting this feeling in this row that that's putting you in a powerless position. It's like you're just in this waiting mode, just wanting this truth, right? And so it feels like kind of like this. You're just kind of spinning in a washing machine here, waiting for it. Because that is what you've decided you need in order to move forward completely and kind of get unstuck about it. So clearly that's why you may be trying to manifest it, but I do feel like, you know, we can gain closure without knowing, right? I think the real closure actually happened when this happened, when this ending, this betrayal, this, you know, it's over. But, you know, we don't want to let go sometimes, right? Or a lot of times, let's be real. So let's see what you need to be aware of. We have Divine Matrix. So I do feel like what you are being told here is that there's something more at play here. I do feel like there may have been some divine intervention here. In some way, it almost feels like there's a block for a reason. I want to see what other messages that card has. I haven't pulled that very many times. It says the realm of spirit. Weaving our dreams into the fabric of reality, synchronicity, learning to trust the way things unfold. So it's almost like you're being encouraged to go with the flow here. With this 6 of Swords, I do feel like the universe is wanting you to move forward, take control of the situation. So rather than being in this waiting mode, waiting for this truth, it's like you just claim closure for yourself, regardless of what the truth was or is, right? And I do feel like your intuition is probably speaking to you here, Cancer. I feel like it's probably been trying to tell you this. So let's see what else we get here. You know, it's kind of interesting. Look at this depiction of the Emperor. He's got that sword and the stone. So it's kind of like, you know, the story of the sword and the stone when Excalibur gets removed from the stone. It's because the person removing the stone or removing the sword is worthy of the sword. And so it's like, it's almost like this card is saying, you can take charge here. You can, I mean, you can decide your own truth and gain closure, right? So let's see if we can get any more here. With the Six of Swords, Temperance, so healing, moving on, going with the flow here, definitely trying to integrate the lessons that you've learned. Page of Wands. And also kind of, I think part of what I mean, obviously the Page of Wands talks about, you know, like a message of inspiration here, right? But I'm also feeling like it's kind of like learning and recognizing that perhaps the person you were dealing with here was just terribly immature. I mean, we went down to the page here, right? And so kind of seeing it almost for what it was worth, because we don't have a Knight of Wands, Seven of Swords kind of energy in someone that is in their maturity, right? That's immature, nasty energy. It's not. So with the Emperor, we have the King of Cups. And the Two of Swords. So it does feel like perhaps you're not paying attention to that emotional, intuitive, deep side of yourself. And I think part of why that's happening, and part of why you've been kind of waiting for this manifestation to happen, this truth to come out, is because there's deep love here with that King of Cups. Like, even if this person was a fool, right? There's a deep soul connection there. You have a very strong emotions for this person. And you may actually feel like they are your divine counterpart as well, with that Emperor showing up there. I do feel like it is, this person's probably sitting in indecisive energy as well. And so while you may feel like you are stuck with this Eight of Swords here, I feel like they are being indecisive as well. And you may resonate with that. You may still be dealing with this person in some way or another. So there's that. Let's see, with the Moon, we have the Seven of Swords again. I feel like part of why, and the, King of Pentacles. Okay, so for some of you, this is kind of brutal. And I will say that having done, like, so far in these readings, I've done about 6 of these. So I'm just now on to the water signs, and I do feel like some of the messages are straight up, right? It's kind of rough. Not gonna lie. But I feel like, for some of you, I feel like part of why the divine stepped in here is because I feel like this person, there's even more treachery and deception going on that you haven't even picked up on. It's been very carefully hidden from you by this person, by the people this person is working with, or, you know, who knows, their friends, whatever. So there's even more going on below the surface with this person. And again, with this King of Pentacles, this may be an ex-husband. We've got a lot of masculine energy showing up here. And it's almost like in this row, which is what you need to be aware of, is that this person may have just been in this for the money with the King of Pentacles. I don't feel like that applies to everyone, but I do feel like in some ways you offered stability, which is clearly something this person couldn't create for themselves, right? Because they were too busy being a player. But I also feel like your intuition is telling you to move on and create your own stability for yourself here as well. It's like your intuition has been calling. You know there's something not right. And instead of waiting for this truth, what you really, it feels like what you're really being encouraged to do is get the heck out of Dodge and build your own empire here, right? What else am I getting here? This Page of Wands is here. It's also in this last row from your guides, so I'll be interested to see what comes through there. But it's almost like you're over here trying to manifest this, and at the same time the universe is trying to manifest this. And let's be real, the universe is stronger. Right? We can butt heads with it until we, knock ourselves out. So it does feel like there's two different motives here. It's like you just want the truth, so you can gain some closure, so you can have some understanding as to how this all went so wrong. And I feel like this is one of those situations where it's like rejection is protection. The reason this hasn't come through is I feel like on some level it goes deeper and darker than you probably imagined, and it's going to be not beneficial for you to have this truth. I think because part of the reason for that is because it's so nasty, but I also feel like it's because you have such a deep emotional connection, or rather love, for this person. They may not reciprocate it clearly based on their behavior here, but I feel like it's like the universe knows more than you know right here, right? So take that for what it's worth. In messages from your guides, we have review and reflection. Take time out. So a timeout is needed. And I thought, as soon as I laid this down, how interesting, because this moon here, it's you, right? Cancer. And so it's almost like needing some time to reflect upon yourself and within yourself here. Kind of taking a step back for sure. You can see she's in this very isolated environment here. And it almost feels kind of cold. Like those are some snowy mountains there in the background. Very hermit-like energy here. So I do feel like rather than kind of focusing on and keeping your intention so focused on this unfinished business here, You're being asked to kind of step off onto the sidelines. Here's the Page of Swords. It's almost like get out of your own way, because I do feel like the universe is trying to put something into play here. We have Justice and the Page of Wands. So I almost feel like the truth, the balance comes in, and it could very well be in the form of communication here with the Page of Swords and the Page of Wands. As soon as you pull back, as soon as you kind of remove yourself as best you can from any of this energy with this person, whether it's like you're still trying to communicate with them, or they still try to communicate with you, what have you, spending too much time thinking about it. It almost feels like this would be a good time to just kind of focus in on you. Let's see what else we get here. And this is what your guides want you to do here. Now, I'm noticing it's a number 2 card. And so that's a lot about balance, but it's also relationship. So you might want to do some review and reflection on relationship dynamics, what your experience has been of them. With the Page of Swords, we have the Strength card. And the 10 of Wands. So could certainly be dealing with a Leo here. We also have Scorpio, Taurus, Cancer, Aries, Taurus, and Sagittarius showing up here strongly. But it's almost like, I feel like what this is saying, it's almost like you need to have the courage to put this burden down, to step away, to pull back. Yeah, with Justice, we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Chariot. So I do feel like it's almost like your guides are trying to reassure you that the minute you pull back and step away from this, move on from it, Cancer, you're going to be offered something, this new beginning, and as far as the Ace of Pentacles goes, something that you deserve, something you've karmically acquired, like good karma, is coming towards you. It could also be related to this Ace of Cups, this new beginning here. With the Page of Wands, Ace of Wands. So I do feel like there's someone coming in here for you. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So again, if this was a marriage situation, and the masculine counterpart in this dynamic is the one that was sitting in this deceptive energy, I feel like what's being said here is that the feminine energy in this dynamic will be offered a new beginning. It's like you don't see it though, because the focus has been so strongly over here, right? So it's almost like encouragement, it feels like, from your guides. It's like the moment you pull back, look at it for what it is. It's been a burden, right? You may find that you've been in this place where, yes, there's pain, there's heartbreak here that happened. You just want to understand the truth. But perhaps you've also been kind of painting this in a better light than it was, It's kind of like childbirth. Look at the bottom of the deck. So something new is definitely coming in for you. I think you just need to remove yourself from this energy in order for that to happen. And again, it feels like the universe stepped in here and kind of took charge. But what was I saying? I was saying something before I interrupted myself. Oh, kind of seeing this maybe with some rose tinted glasses here. And I think that the universe wants you to just pull your energy back and recognize that, yeah, it was hard. You had a lot of strength. You were able to carry this somehow, but it's not necessary because there's better coming in for you. There's good karma coming in for you. There's new beginnings available here. We have 1, 2, 4 aces, 5, like all the aces here. So I hope that was helpful for you, Cancer, and hang in there. This is not an easy situation, but I hope you found that helps to guide you coming up to this portal and just kind of bring some awareness into the situation here. And perhaps the truth that you were seeking about why this happened and why this person did this and, whatever, right? Maybe it's enough to know that the universe stepped in here. They're putting the blocks on this. They want good things for you, right? They didn't want you to know the truth because the truth is uglier than you could imagine, maybe. So I hope that was helpful. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye, Cancer.